And so yeah, this is part 3. Cause we gonna keep hitting on this, man. You know what I'm saying? What I noticed too, I think they starting to like throw back files into my that I erase in the trash, and I already erased it. Cause I make sure I go in when I erase it, I go to trash and make sure there ain't nothing there. I check the videos, I check that every time. It could be an honest mistake, but I think sometimes they do that to get attention, you know what I'm saying? Cause like, you know, and distractions. No, I'm just being honest with you. That's food for thought. Cause sometimes if you're a good speaker like me, they trying to control the maestro. You know what I'm saying? People that are control freaks like to control the maestro, and you can't control this maestro. You're not the maestro, I am. Okay? I'm the MC of ceremonies. I'm the master of ceremonies. That part, that's 7 out. I'm an MC in this situation. And this MC, this master of ceremonies, is talking about money. How these religious folks and these in the streets and these rappers ain't making, the first thing you gotta do is make you a soup kitchen. Get you a soup kitchen. Okay? Get you a soup kitchen. Well, get you a soup kitchen. And in your hood, where you got all your reputation from, we want you to get a soup kitchen and put it over there. Because if it wasn't from that hood, you wouldn't be even credible. They wouldn't even consider you credible. So that bad neighborhood made you credible, made you the big bad wolf in the community, and gave you credibility. Okay, so you invest back into that. You don't know how, I'm showing you how. You build a soup kitchen. You black, right? Okay, for black people. What you do for black people is you start a consistent soup kitchen and pantry where they can go there and get pantries once a week. Okay? They can get a pantry once a week. They can eat there in the soup kitchen every day. Okay? That's what you establish. Next, you give out clothes. Your soup kitchen and your shelter, you start a shelter. You don't need the government to always do you can start a shelter yourself, a facility. You pull it up to par, you get all the regulations for it, you get armed men, yes, because people are bugged out. That's why we feel the need to defend ourselves, even in these shelters, because they don't got no security. People are bugged out, man. You get security in the shelters. That's right. 357s. That's right. Boys know you got them 357s on you. They ain't trying nobody. Because that 357 hit you one time. Listen, buddy, you ain't gonna want no more of that. I promise you that. That extra wound come out you. Listen, gonna leave a a big old hole in your back. That extra wound gonna be brutal. And I think they can put hollow points in the 357, which means the fragments of the bullets explode in your body. That's what hollow points do. The fragments just go everywhere in your body. Okay? You put people in there with 357s and nothing lower, no lower caliber gun. I arm everybody with 357s. Man, somebody hit you. Listen, buddy, you want, man, them 357s, it will collect dust. It will collect dust. Ain't nobody gonna see a 357 on you and try you. And then there's other men with 357s in there. Everybody got 357s. And guess what? And we gonna arm, and I put an arsenal in there where they can go run and retreat to an arsenal room and where they got 12 gauges. Everybody go arm themselves with 12 gauges. Just in case it get a little worse than that. Just in case there's something else going on. You put 12 gauges in the hole. You got an arsenal where you put 12 gauges in there. You have people of high integrity in there because now you got goods. Somebody might try to steal the set 12. Some ghetto people might try to steal the 12 gauges. You know what I'm saying? So you hire people with high integrity. No felonies. I gotta say it how I want to feel it. No criminals. And if you do hire criminals, man, you gotta know them through and through, and you give them a chance, you know what I'm saying, to play them positions. But you know, you could do that. But you put Everybody in there with 357s. Nobody feels like it's not necessary because they're killing people in shelters these days. You know what I'm saying? So you can't sleep on these shelter situations. That's why I don't. You know what I'm saying? I make sure I'm protecting myself in these shelters with these crazy bugged out people. You know what I'm saying? That's just real. You know what I'm saying? I don't apologize for it at all. You know what I'm saying? So you can start shelters. You can start shelters where you're taking care of the needs of your neighborhood. That's how you stay consistent. And it don't take a lot of money. That's what I'm talking about. Man, to keep a good shelter going and you got millions of dollars, man, all you gotta do is throw another million and it's all taken care of. That's including food, money, food, clothing, and all kind of things for the children and the women. All of that. You providing all of that. But you'll have a shelter for families and children and separated from the streets. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no children coming in and mixed with the streets and all of that. That's how stuff gets started. That's how accusations get started. Sometimes people might say you did something to their kids and you didn't. You touched their kids, you hit their kids, you bumped into their kids. That part. He bumped into my kids, about to knock my kid down. But you ain't paying attention to your children. You know what I'm saying? So you can make a shelter for the streets, but don't involve families in that shelter. You make a whole nother shelter for families where women can get all they need for. See, this is what black people should be doing. White people ain't gonna do it for us. Now you see what I'm saying? Now you are a distributor of good. According to 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter, the 17th through the 19th verse. Now you are a distributor of good. Now, with all I said, let's read that again. 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter, the 17th through the 19th verse. Tell those who have the riches of this world not to be arrogant and not to place their confidence in anything as uncertain as riches. Instead, they should place their confidence in God, who richly provides us with everything to enjoy. Tell them to do good, to do a lot of good things, to be generous, and to share. By doing this, they store up a treasure for themselves, which is a good foundation for the future. In this way, they take hold of what life really is. See that part? Yes, sir. See, you had it all wrong. You had it all wrong. What you were supposed to do is start a shelter. Start a soup kitchen. Clothe your community consistently. How you going to do it consistently? Think about it. You want to help them every day. You want to feed them every day, don't you? You want to feed them once a month. You want to feed them once a year. Okay, so you want to feed them every day, don't you? You want your tribe, which is your community, where you come from, that y'all go make videos and say, yeah, this is where I came from. Some people halfway looking corny, right? Okay, you want to help them people, don't you? How often do you want to help them? You want to help them every day. Well, how you going to help them every day? You gonna have people go out there every day? No, you're not. So then why don't you start a soup kitchen, a shelter, and a pantry for the community that you come from, so that you can consistently feed the people. Because them shelters ain't good enough that the government is providing. No, man, no. And then you can get into the case workers and all of that kind of stuff and everything. But when you make a shelter, this is what I'm going to say to you. Don't make them have to leave the shelter and go out every morning, because they think they teaching you something that you already know. Half them people old and done been through a lot of jobs. They don't need to learn nothing. They burnt out in life. So we learned that our people being oppressed. See, we deal with a different psychology than these other communities that's here. Our people are burnt out psychologically. And we they deserve to have a place to lay their head after being oppressed without charge and without, see, this is how you should feel. Without charge and without them having to run out and go get a job. If you want to lay around, listen, We got 357s and just in case you got out of line, bro. But if you want to lay around in your bed all day long, listen, we don't got no problem with that. You know how good people will feel just to get out the elements. Instead of running them out there, trying to find a job. And this person knows, listen, this person is burnt out psychologically. See, this is an issue that is among black people. We burnt out psychologically, man. We don't feel like doing nothing. And you got to look at the oppression that black people been through. So we done been through a harder pressure on our psychology than these white people telling you to go out and work all the time. You done been through all type of pitfalls and destruction in your community that ultimately has its source at America. America is going to be the source to all of those things. Not saying that we have to stay in stupidity and ignorance, but they the source of most of these pitfalls and things that break us down, right? Right. So white America is not going through these pressures psychologically that we go through. So it's easy for them to go tell you to go work, but they have not been pressed psychologically like we have. And that's with street politics, that's with crime, doing all this stuff out here, being a victim of crime, getting robbed and everything. I got robbed when I was only 16 years old. Robbed at gunpoint with a gun. In a car, not a bum robbing me. No. Somebody with a car and a gun. It's one thing to get robbed by some bums. It's another thing to get robbed by somebody with a loaded gun in the car. Huh? And they got something from it too. They stole stuff from it too. Right there in broad daylight, I got robbed. So I've been robbed at gunpoint. Just in case you thought I ain't been through nothing. Just in case you even thought I never had no gun pulled on me by a stranger. I was just a kid when I got robbed. I was just a kid when I got robbed at gunpoint. So that's why I'm like I am. I'm not really, maybe you're afraid of things. I'm not really that afraid. Okay, that's what it is. That changes you. That getting robbed change you too. Yeah, it do. It give you more juice. You're less afraid of guns. A gun being pointed at you. You're less afraid of those type of situations and altercations. That's right. And you need, and that's part of being the full person you need to be through these streets. You need to be less afraid of these altercations. And if you got robbed before, I guarantee you, man, you either gonna go one way or the other. You're gonna be less afraid or more afraid of the streets. But it's gonna have an effect on you if somebody pull a gun on you, especially as a kid. As you still a boy and somebody robbed a grown man robbed you at gunpoint. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand, man, like that, all these type of things weighs on people's psychology. You know, you got somebody pull a gun on you. You see somebody get their head, somebody else might see somebody get their head blowed off right in front of you. And then they gonna go tell you to work. They gonna go tell you to go out here in the society. See, the truth is we got more oppression done to our psychology than white America. They sitting around in suburban houses and drinking tea, you know what I'm saying, on a Sunday afternoon, having fun and everything. You know, they got a white Christmas, so to speak, going on right now. Well, it's the day after Christmas, they got a white Christmas. Their kids playing around with toys and everything. Buying all kind of little stuff on TV, new smart TVs, new smartphone, smart TV, smartphone. That's all I'm saying. While other people is traumatized and they ain't have no kind of Christmas. Like you and I, like I'm in basically a half house type of shelter kind of situation. I ain't have no type of Christmas. Nothing. And even though you're older, you still like the camaraderie that comes with Christmas. No camaraderie or nothing. So, and you know, and half of these white people, listen, they gonna go home for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? You know the type. They might be losers, but their mom gonna invite them over for Christmas. Hey, these white losers coming home for Christmas, ain't they? They coming home for Christmas. You know all them songs, coming home for Christmas. It's in all kind of different